All right, so here we are. Once again, testing kitchen gadgets from Amazon. I have 5 of them that I've selected. A couple of them I think could be life-changing. This first one, honestly, whenever I saw this one on the website, the only reason that I bought it was purely because I wanted to make fun of it about how dumb it was and the fact that it's not going to be useful at all. But then now that I actually have it in my hands, I think it's actually going to be really cool. So I'm probably going to have to just eat my words on that one. So it's this. What this reminded me of is those things that, I don't know if everybody had them in school, but back in school we had these big things where you could cut papers with. And that's exactly what this is, except for it's for food. So you can put food on it and then slice it. And I guess it's supposed to be kind of like a safer way to cut food. And I didn't realize this in the pictures, but it's got this gauge on the side of it, so you can cut things with a consistent thickness. So that I think is actually going to be very useful. I've got a couple things that we can cut. I'll put a plate there. Let's start off with some summer sausage. This is something that was pictured in the ad. Now let's set our depth. So you can twist this little knob right here, and it's got this little gauge. And this just adjusts to whatever thickness you want. And then I guess you just hold it against the blade to get that thickness. So let's go. I'm going to have to give this thing 4 stars instead of 5 because I just realized that the measurements are in millimeters. I'm an American. I don't operate in millimeters. I don't know what that means. Which is also kind of funny because I was looking at this and I saw that it had 0 and 5. And I thought maybe it meant 0.5 for half of an inch. But then if you screw it out here, I know that that's not half an inch. All right, I guess let's just eyeball it. See, if you would have just given me inches, I could do this. But now since you give me millimeters, I have to eyeball. We'll go there, that works. First, let's cut the end off. Hello? Ooh, that's gonna be nice. That's not bad. Really it's not really slicing like you would with a knife. It's more of it smashes and then starts to cut. Let's get a close up on this. So you'll probably be able to see, of course that time, make a liar out of me. That time it did it flawlessly. Maybe you gotta have it all the way up to the top. Okay, so user error. Pretty standard for these videos. Because if you hold it out here into this part of it, and then you go, yeah, it smashes it pretty good. Really good. And then it starts to cut. So that's not the greatest. If you just put it out in front, slices right through. I would consider that a win. That's pretty good. I got 2 different types of cheese. That might be a problem. Maybe cheese doesn't... Get it? Cut the cheese? Maybe cheese doesn't cut as easily as I thought. Oh, actually, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Nice. That's a perfectly even slice. Okay. Cutting cheese with this is really nice. So that was medium cheddar. All right. Let's move to Monterey Jack. Oh, that's a little tougher. This cheese must be a different consistency. That's pretty good. Let's also... Oh, that's as thin as we can go. So we are maximum thinness right now. I'm actually very shocked with how thinly you can slice this cheese, and it's fine. It's a weird kind of cheese. I don't know if I like that. Let's move on to the root of all evil. Cucumbers. I don't know why you would want to eat a cucumber. I don't know why you'd want to cut a cucumber. I don't know why you would even want to have a cucumber in your house. But we'll see if this thing can do it. Oh. Oh, look at that. Hey, maybe that's another good part of this, is the speed. Look at this. I can do this faster than I could a knife. Those are all super thin, too. That's as thin as it goes. Let's see how fast I can cut this whole thing. Look at that. I just did that in like 2 seconds. That's basically like pro chef level. I think with this thing, I think I am going to have to eat my words on this one. It's not dumb. I thought it was going to be stupid, but it's not. It's actually pretty good. And it's also safer than using a knife. All right, next product. I got to be careful because it's been preheating. This is the Hamilton Beach, I don't know what it's called, Hamilton Beach something or other, two breakfast sandwich maker bad boy. That's what I'm going to call it. 2 hot plates, top and bottom. Then you have these plates. This thing is, you hear that? Sizzling for some reason. Don't know if that's good or bad. The idea here is that you put an English muffin on the bottom, then you push this down, and you put an egg in here, cook an egg, and then you put a cheese or whatever you want on top of the egg. Then you take these 2 plates and slide them out, and then everything falls on top of the bottom piece, and then you're good to go. And then bingo, bongo, you have 2 sandwiches. They make this seem extremely easy. I'm not so sure. So I'm confident that this is probably going to be nothing short of a disaster. Let's just go ahead and I'll do it sideways so we can all see what's happening here. So I have prepared the English muffins, which, can we just talk about English muffins for a minute? Like, what is this? It's like soft, it's falling apart. It doesn't even like look that good. Have the English ever really done anything correctly? I mean, stuff like this is why we put the tea in the harbor. I mean, this is ridiculous. So, I guess we just drop that there. I already forgot a crucial step. I read this in the instruction manual. You're supposed to spray it with oil. I don't know if you're supposed to put oil on the bottom of that, but we did. Everything's oiled up. Hopefully we don't start a grease fire. That would be preferred. Put those there. I feel like I'm in like a commercial kitchen or something. Gotta move quick. You're gonna see my egg cracking technique. That's gonna be beautiful. Look at that. Also, we're supposed to wait for the preheat light to come on. That was a crucial oversight, I think. And we're supposed to crack the yolk. It said with a fork. I don't have a fork. I have a zip tie. Or not a zip tie, a twist tie. Maybe that'll work. Oh, the preheat light is on. Perfect. Perfect timing. I'm a professional. I'm going to open a breakfast sandwich shop. Use our patented twist tie method. And I think we just close that. And now we just wait. I sliced off some cheese from our previous experiment. I think it said 4 to 5 minutes. We should be good to go. I can hear things are happening. There's also oil running out of the back of this thing. Probably because I sprayed way too much. Ooh. This thing might be onto something. That doesn't look bad at all. I think I've encountered a problem. So I don't really have a way of knowing if it's done or not. I'm probably gonna get burnt doing this. Oh, the yolk is solid. Okay, so we're probably done. I'm gonna do 2 different cheeses on each one. Yeah. I think I'm overcooking this egg severely. Okay. Wait a minute. Did I put the tops on the bottoms? So now we should be able to close this and then pull this out. And then now we should be able to lift this and we should have 2 perfectly made breakfast sandwiches. Let's pull all this together. Look at that. Oh, misinput. Hot, really hot. I think this thing might be an A+. Why was the bottom of that one like the surface of the sun and the other one really wasn't that bad? The other one was hot, but it didn't really burn. Let's unplug that monstrosity. So let's check out. Actually, that egg, those are burning my fingers. Why is everything so hot? I don't think they're overcooked. I think that actually might be just right. The eggs are hot too. Okay, everything's hot. All right. So far, user experience using this thing, it was actually pretty simple. I think I could probably open a breakfast sandwich shop if I had 2 of these. So imagine this. If I had 2 of these, 1 for each hand, I could open each one, okay? I could crack 4 eggs, 1 hand each. You could do the entire operation with 1 hand. So 4 sandwiches, I could probably crank out 50 sandwiches in an hour if I had to. So if you have a use for like a high volume sandwich maker, this might be your fit right here. What they should do is they should make like a 4 sandwich thing that's 1 unit, put 2 on either side, and then you can make 8 sandwiches, 4 for each hand. As far as the user experience goes, using it, I give that like a 9 out of 10. That was simple. A caveman like me could do it. Quality that you get of the food that you create, that's kind of up to you. I think I did all right. Let's see. See what that egg is like. The egg is definitely a little bit overcooked, but that's 100% my fault. If you knew what you were doing, cooking eggs, and you pulled it out faster than I did, A+. I really like this thing. All right, our next item. Now that we've had breakfast, we obviously need some dessert. So we have a s'mores maker, and it's actually very basic. It's just a heating element. You just lay your accoutrements around the outside, and there you go, make some s'mores. You'll never catch me turning down a s'more. Something that's interesting is, whenever I looked at this on Amazon, I assumed that in this centerpiece, that the heating element was gonna be like a, kind of like a heat gun or something. I actually think it's just a, or not I think, I know, it's just like a little heating element like on a stove. It's actually smoking a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's take one of these, stick our marshmallow. Let's prepare our graham cracker. Leave a comment down below. Are you a chocolate on top type of person or a chocolate on the bottom type of person for your s'more? If you are a chocolate on the bottom type of person, you can see your way out because you are a psychopath. Is this as hot as it gets? I mean, that's hot, but like, I feel like it should be getting way hotter. It's 500 degrees. Oh, actually, in certain parts of it, it's 800 degrees. Oh, no, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. It's starting to turn red. That's what we want. It just takes a little minute for it to heat up. Let's roast us a marshmallow. This is probably riveting, I'm sure. I thought this would go faster, to be fair. They need to make like a like a fishing pole holder type thing where you clamp it onto the side and then it just kind of holds it up here for you. And then every now and then you can turn around and kind of rotate it. That would be an idea. Oh, we're getting a little bit of brown. Oh, look at that. We're getting a good amount of brown too. So once it gets red hot, it doesn't take too long. So one downside I'm seeing about this right off the bat, you can see that the marshmallow is starting to get really droopy, is that if you are like me and you like your marshmallows to be a little bit burnt, I don't think that's going to be possible with this because it doesn't heat up fast enough. So you kind of get stuck. The best you can, that was hot. The best you can do is brown. I'll try to burn one real fast. I mean, that's not great. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do it. The marshmallow is just going to get all gooey and soft far before it gets burnt. So that's an immediate downside. I also do know that they make these things, or not these particular ones, but something similar to this where you use I think a sterno can in the middle, but it's the same concept, heat source in the middle, accoutrements on the outside. After using this one, even though I've never used that other one, I think having a live flame in the middle would be better. I feel like that gives you more of an actual campfire feel. You can burn your marshmallow on the outside if you want. And then if you want it brown, you can just, hold it farther away from the flame. And you have a lot more flexibility. Whereas with this, you're getting your marshmallow one way. And that is brown and soft. I just realized I have not prepared my graham cracker. And this thing is due. I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. I expected kind of a better experience from this thing. Now watch, look, for all you people. Chocolate goes on the top of the marshmallow. Doesn't go on the bottom. Those people that like it on the bottom, we don't associate with those people. Those people are psychopaths. Those are the same people that if you're having hot dogs, they put the ketchup on the bun first and then put the hot dog in there. Like I said, we don't associate with those people. All right. I mean, hey, it's a s'more. It's exactly what you would expect. It's really tough to mess up a s'more, honestly. I'm going to eat 25 of those. Easy. Just like I said, I think it would be, if you have the option to get the one that has like the sterno can so that you can have an actual live flame, I feel like that would be a much better experience. If you want something that's easy and I would say probably much safer than a live flame, then I would say this is a great secondary option. You're not going to have as much flexibility. And if you like burnt marshmallows, you can't really do it. So that's that. This next product, if this thing works as advertised, this is going to be life-changing. This is the KitchenAid automatic rice cooker. So the idea is you plug it in, it's got a screen, you tell it what's in there, it has a separate water reservoir, you put your rice in here, close it, it weighs out the rice, calculates how much water you need, and then automatically adds in the correct amount of water and then cooks it. I cannot tell you how life-changing that's going to be if it works, because if you're like me and you like rice, but you don't know how to cook it, when it comes to cooking rice, there's basically two methods that I've used. One, you can use a standard rice cooker. The problem is, you got to put the rice in, and you have to know how much water to put in. Whenever I had a rice cooker, I had 2 measuring cups. One measuring cup was for the rice. The other measuring cup was the exact amount of water that I needed for that amount of rice. And then, okay, bingo, bongo, that works great. The problem is, if I wanted more rice than that, or less rice than that, now I gotta go on Google, I gotta watch tutorials, I gotta try to figure out all these complex mathematic equations and solve all these calculations and use the Pythagorean theorem and do all this nonsense to try to figure out how much water do I need to put in this, or the rice is gonna be soggy, it's gonna be crunchy. It's a whole disaster. The second way that I've tried to cook rice is in a pot. The problem is, that has all the problems of the rice cooker, where you have to know how much rice and how much water, but also now you have to figure out, how long do I cook it? Do I boil it for 2 minutes and then put the lid on and then set it off to the side? Do I boil it and then lower the heat and then put the lid on? Do I just boil the whole thing with the lid on until the rice is done? It's like there's 10 million things you got to figure out on just how to cook the rice. Every time I've ever tried to cook rice in a pot, guess what happens? I end up eating crunchy rice because I don't know how long to cook it. I don't know what I'm doing. And the rice is what I think is done with my steak or whatever I'm having. And then I don't want to cook it the rest of the way to wait for it to be the perfect doneness. Hopefully, this thing works as advertised. The other thing is that this is not just a rice cooker. This is, well, I'll go through the settings with you. It does a lot of things. We're going to test out a few of those things, and you can select, if you want, we're going to do rice first. So you can select rice, you can select what type of rice, white grain short, white grain long, sushi, brown, jasmine, basmati, whatever that is. You have grains. You can do rolled oats, which we're going to do the white rice, and we're going to do rolled oats and steel cut oats. Because another fun fact, I used to eat steel cut oats every morning for breakfast. But guess what? They're a pain to cook. I can't really cook them in a pot because that's always a disaster. So the second option is the microwave. And then guess what happens whenever you put oatmeal in the microwave? You put the bowl in there, and then after a unspecified amount of time, the oats I don't know, they get fluffy, and then they overflow the bowl and then fill up the microwave. And then steel cut oats, you have to cook them for a longer period of time than rolled oats. It would be like a 45-minute process trying to make breakfast because you have to sit there at the microwave and put your rolled oats in there and then start the microwave and then sit there and watch it and wait for the bowl to rise up and then open the door and then let them come back down. And then close the door and then start it again. And just repeat that process for 45 minutes until the oats are finally done. So if this can also do steel cut oats, this thing is going to be the greatest purchase that I ever make in my life. So we're going to do rice, extra long rice. So I guess we're just going to do white long grain. So we're going to add the rice. And it has a built-in scale. Pour in the amount of rice that you want. Oh, okay, so you have to have at least 142 grams. 1 gram is like 1 paper clip, so you have to have at least 142 and a half paper clips worth of rice. Okay, 171, that's fine. Level the food, okay? We'll level it out. Okay, our prep, they're dry. We're using water. Although, what else would you use besides water? Broth. People use broth in rice. Texture. Regular, firm, or soft. Firm is the type of rice that I always get whenever I try to cook it in a pot. Let's go soft. I like soft rice. And I think we just close this. Start. Look at that. It's even weighing out the water. So for 171 grams of rice, you're supposed to use, that's a lot of water, 265 grams of water. So for every 172 paper clips of rice, you need 271 paper clips of water. And I think, it says it's going to take 35 minutes. So we'll come back when the rice is done. So it appears that it's been done for 11 minutes, or it's been keeping the rice warm for 11 minutes. So I didn't even realize that it was done because it doesn't give you any indication that it's done. There's no chime, there's no beep, there's no song and dance, none of that. So that's kind of a downside, but I guess if you're in the kitchen cooking or whatever, you're going to be around it, so you'll know when it's done. Let's see what we got. Ooh. Actually looks a little bit dry. However, it was on the warmer for 11 minutes. Let's see what we got here. I mean, hey, that's rice. It's a tiny bit on the dry side, but I do think that's probably due to me not knowing it was done and it being on the warmer for 11 minutes. Here's the good part. It's not crunchy, and it is cooked properly. So that is a huge upside. That's amazing. That's going to change my life. I don't have to try to cook rice in a pot anymore, and I don't have to eat half crunchy rice. My life just got a giant upgrade. So I'm going to clean this out, and we're going to try steel cut oats. So I got my whole grain steel cut oats. I assume the process is going to be the same. Steel cut oats, add oats. Wonder how many. Oh, we only need 88 paper clips. Okay. I bet we have to level that out. Level your food, already did. One step ahead. Our preparation is dry. Oh, you could add water to this. I mean, water. You could add milk to this. Regular, firm, or soft. Let's go just regular. I'm also curious how long it's gonna take to cook. Because I feel like it's gonna take much longer than the rice, I would imagine. Wow. Tons of water. So almost 3 times the amount of oatmeal you need in water. How long is it going to take? 50 minutes. I mean, that sounds about right. Whenever I would try to cook it in the microwave and I'm sitting there pushing the button, opening it up, and doing the whole process back and forth, it probably took at least 45. See you in 50 minutes. I guess I just got that on camera. It does play a tune whenever it gets done. I guess the first time I just didn't hear it. So let's see what kind of oatmeal we got here. That's a little crispy on the bottom. A little dry. I think that could be because I chose regular. Maybe if I chose soft, it would have used a little bit more water, perhaps. Like skin type of thing going on the bottom. It's not the worst I've seen, but it could be better. But I mean, that looks like oatmeal. Let's try a little bit of it. Even though this is going to be gross because this is just plain oatmeal. There's no honey in here, no cinnamon, nothing. It's hot. I'll tell you that much. It wasn't hot to begin with, but it touched like a certain part of my tongue that started to really burn. I mean, hey, that's rolled oats. It's cooked. I think if you put this in a bowl, put a little bit of cinnamon on there, a little bit of honey, I think it would be great. And that was 1,000,000,000 times easier than doing the whole microwave method that I explained. I might actually be able to have rolled oats for breakfast again because now I have a way to cook it. Something else that I didn't mention is that you could obviously have this whole thing set up. You could just have your oats in here, have your water here, have it all closed up the night before, and then whenever you wake up, just wake up and then start it. And you could even, I'm almost positive I saw a mode here. I'm almost positive that there is a delay to start. The sound level's on the low. That's why I couldn't hear it. All right, we'll look at that on the next one. So now I'm going to clean this, and we're going to go try some rolled oats. All right, rolled oats. Same process. I do want to see about this timer, though. Pearled barley? What does that mean? Oh, rolled oats. There we go. Well, you only need 48 grams of these. 48 paper clips. Now let's see about this timer. Let's go texture soft. Delay cook. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So you can delay the cooking time up to 24 hours. So if you wanted this for breakfast, and obviously you know what time you're going to wake up, you could just set it on a delay and have it be right there ready to go as soon as you wake up. So that's cool. Or vice versa, you could, if you know what time you're going to eat dinner, you could have rice in there or whatever and have it set to go right as soon as dinner's going to be ready. This shouldn't take long at all. Maybe 20 minutes. Look at that. Right on the money. 20 minutes. And we are done. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. That is some mighty fine rolled oats, if I do say so myself. I'm not even going to try that because I don't want to burn myself again. And I don't really need to try it to be able to tell you that is some good rolled oats. This KitchenAid automatic rice maker, absolute A+. This thing's gonna be a game changer. This is gonna save me so much time, especially for rice. I can't even express to you how excited I am that I don't have to try to do all the calculations to try to cook rice anymore. So I'd say this is a 10 out of 10, 5 stars. All right, our next item is this. This is a fire extinguisher stick. It's made by a company called Element Advanced Fire Protection. It's rated for class A, B, C, and K fires. Not entirely sure what those things mean. But the idea here, it's supposed to work kind of like a road flare, except for it's supposed to be a fire extinguisher. In theory, you would have this on the wall, and then should a fire break out, you pull this off the wall, you pull off this cap, then you pull off this cap, and then this has I don't even know what you call it, like that sandpaper stuff that's on a match, and you would strike it against the top. This would ignite, and then I guess somehow while it's burning, it's also dispensing the fire putting out stuff, and it puts out the fire. So one, obviously I want to know if it works, but two, one of the big advertisement things with this is that they say it doesn't leave a mess. And that I do not believe for a second. Because almost every fire extinguisher leaves that powder stuff behind. They all leave some type of residue behind. The whole no mess thing, I don't believe. Its ability to put out a fire, okay, maybe. So what we're gonna do to test that is, we are just gonna get a pan really hot, vegetable oil in it, and we're just gonna start ourselves a little bit of a grease fire. You know, one of my favorite things to do. And then we'll see if it puts it out. How to create a grease fire 101. It's a very simple process. Put way too much heat and leave it alone. And then I'm just gonna put a thin layer of the oil. All right, that should be good. We should have a grease fire in no time. All right, we're starting to get smoke. Usually, once you start seeing smoke, you're right on the edge of a grease fire. It feels weird cheering on a grease fire. Come on, we're getting tons of smoke. It's gotta be ready to auto ignite at any minute. Oh, look, we have a grease fire. Whatever shall we do? Hold on, let me get my fire extinguisher. All right, let's see. Oh. I mean, that runs for quite a while, actually. This runs forever. This is like a smoke bomb. You could do like a dance with this. Okay. Let's turn that off. It worked. However, in the very beginning, if you noticed, whenever I first sprayed it on there, it actually made the fire bigger for a brief moment before it put it out. So that's kind of a downside, I think. But it did work. All right, so it does seem that this does work as advertised. It put out the grease fire no problem, although there was that little bit of a flare up that I do want to mention that I could see a situation where somebody who doesn't really perform well under pressure could have, say, a grease fire, start this, and then spray it on it, and then it gets that initial flare up, and they kind of panic and make the fire worse. So I don't really love that. But I guess there's really no way to control that. You just have to use it as it's designed, and it will put out the fire. It also, as far as I could tell, did not leave a mess, just like advertised. I didn't see any residue on the pan, in the pan, on the ground around it. The burn time, I felt like, was extremely long for what it is. Another downside is I could see a situation where if you have more than just like a tiny fire, like a grease fire or something inside of a little pot, maybe a very small electrical fire, the rate that this dispenses the chemical isn't very fast, or it doesn't have a very high volume. So if you have like a medium-sized fire, I could see where this wouldn't be enough, and you would just be spraying this on a fire and it just wouldn't do anything. So you got to keep that in mind. This is for, I would say, very small fires, something to grab very quickly and get something put out before it spreads anymore. And that's going to be about all it's good for. But other than that, I like it. I think it's good. So, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.